got Martin in shot.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So it's now my time to announce the main event, the speeches. First of all, it's the father of the bride, Mark. The time is now. Let's make this moment last.
Turn it up. Got me reverb. Flanger. I'm at the wrong end of a microphone cable here, so bear with me. We all know Rowan and Rob have waited a long time for this day, and I'm very happy to see that as of today they've finally tied their knot. I think convention would have me embarrass Rowan with some stories from her childhood, but as most of you will know, we didn't grow up together, and in many ways I think to that end she beat me to it. This is, after all, very grown-up stuff, getting married, you know. Joint bank accounts, his and hers pyjamas, it's all complicated stuff. Not to mention having made all of this actually happen. I've discovered Rowan is a determined creature. Once she sets her mind on something, nothing gets in her way. Not even a worldwide mutating virus pandemic. Some of this I put down to being a Sheffield girl, you know, proper. And as someone who considers Sheffield an adopted home, her moves around the city are like a Sheffield taxi radio. Sometimes never end. Often Hunter's Bar, and if late, anyone would sings. I'd like to tell you about the time we met 11 or so years ago now. After a couple of phone calls, we were all set to meet at Cole's Corner. Thank you, Richard Hawley, for pointing out there was really no other option. And by the fountain down the road, let's all meet up in the year 2011. It just made sense. And it had just been snowing for the first time that winter, and it was the start of the run-up to Christmas. And the Salvation Army brass band were playing outside the City Hall, the most melancholic northern sound of all, and I'm sure we were both very apprehensive. I know my knees were knocking, a bit like now, but and after 18 years of wondering, we gave each other a big hug, and Rowan said to me, "Hiya, you alright?" And I knew we were going to be just fine. And she said, "Shall we get a cuppa and some cake, Dad?" And I was like, "Are you talking to me?" I really thought she would just call me Mark, but as I got to know Rowan and I followed her colourful journey through Jobland, one of the first was, "I've got a job in a strip club." And I'm like, "You are?" I'm only serving drinks. I'm thinking this could be complicated. and then there were the nights at South Yorkshire's gambling dens. It's probably better than the strip club. And for the last few years being some kind of air traffic controller for suddenly dead people. Something I can only put down to the golf half of her DNA. Anyway, having this lovely human being in my life, I have discovered she is as caring, funny, loving, thoughtful, gorgeous and kind as any dad could possibly wish for. And of course, when she brought Rob into the picture, it was no accident that he's a very fine gentleman too. Apart from the blades thing. But anyway, it's not a biggie for me, so... It's been a pleasure to get to know Martin, Lynn, Sharon, and meet Martin and Russell. And for my lot to meet your lot and become us lot, hopefully, and celebrate with Rowan and Rob their future together with all of you, beautiful lot. I'm sure you'll want to join me and wish them both every happiness, love and laughter in the near and far future, and wish everyone a great time today and the days ahead. So please stand with me and raise a glass to the lovely couple here, Mr. and Mrs. Bloor, Rowan and Rob.
we can all agree that that was a fantastic speech from Mark. And next I'd like to introduce someone who needs no introductions, Mr. Russell McFarlane, and our stepfather. And I just need to remind you that the venue does close at 12 o'clock before you start.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Ross. Okay, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Russell, and I'm Rowan's stepfather. Welcome all of you as guests, and on behalf of Rob, Rowan, Helen, Mark, Martin, Sharon, and myself, thank you for all sharing in this special day. I'd like to say how beautiful Rowan's looked all day, just like a mermaid. I see Rowan and I just think of a mermaid. It's special. Rob, you're looking quite good yourself. And to all the wonderful bridesmaids, you really do look a picture. Thank you to the officiator of the ceremony. I believe she may have gone, but thank you to her. And a big thank you to everybody involved in putting together a fantastic day. I wasn't really looking forward to doing this. I wanted to do it, but when I thought I might be the first, I was pleased that Mark was the first. Because it felt a bit like being invited to sleep with the Queen Mother. It's a great honour, but you don't really want to do it. I remember when Rob came around to our house to ask for Owen's hand. It was great because it was proper. We took to him straight away. But I did have to wonder whether he'd realise where he let himself in for. No, Rob is a kind, a considerate gentleman who deserves a good wife. And thankfully he married Rowan before finding one. Only joking, Rowan, only joking. We love and welcome, Rob, you and your debit card with open arms into the family. Rowan, kind Rowan, I'm going to emulate some of the words that Mark has already said. Kind, sensitive, thoughtful. Anybody that knows her will agree with this. Fun-loving and considerate. And a person who would never do any harm. Oh dear. Sorry. She wouldn't do any harm to anybody. Brilliant. Okay, but she's also got a mischievous side. I can always remember one occasion we had a family holiday visiting CJ's, and we were on the beach and I'd fallen asleep only to be awoken by Rowan trying to bury me in sand. I thought she was trying to tell me something then. And on another occasion, I used to take her swimming, and I think it got uncomfortable for her because I used to have these fantastic Tarzan Speedo trunks, which she found embarrassing, so she asked her mum if I'd stop wearing them. And then on another occasion, she attended a New Year's Eve party with Jack, and I took her there, and after a few hours we got a phone call asking if I could go and bring her back. She was obviously drunk, but we had to play it down for Mum's sake.
We had an agreement.
So we had an agreement, so when we came back, Rowan dashed straight off up to bed. And it was only after a short while, Mum heard some calls from Rowan asking if she'd come up and see her because she was uncontrollably throwing up. So that was the game over. Rob, I'd like to congratulate the way that Martin and Sharon have brought you up. You've done a fantastic job. He's a quiet, sincere guy, a deep thinker, and I understand he's brought no trouble to the door, which is fantastic, so job done. And he's also a very fast driver of cars. Every time I get in Rob's car, it's a bit like a white knuckle ride. Rob and Rowan, so much in love, which makes you sick, doesn't it? It really does. Always kissing, touching hands, and it's wonderful to see. But I have to share with you that what makes a marriage happy, a few things here. Being a good listener, having persistence, patience, tolerance, tenacity, stamina, steady on guys, no jokes, and forgiveness. Failing all the above, a deceptive memory helps. And always remember, Rob, the husband always has to take the blame.
Correct.
And remember, Rowan, if you're wanting something from Rob, just ask him. Hints seldom work. True, guys, isn't it? Oops, that's me in the doghouse. But please don't tell the dog. Rob, what can I say? Not a lot, really. Only joking. Only joking. Your intentions are sincere. You've got a great work ethic, and we know you love Rowan. When I put the question to Rob, what was he looking for in a marriage? He said to me, love, happiness, and maybe a family. When I asked Rowan the question, she replied, a coffee percolator. What she actually said was a perky copulator. I knew what she meant though. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, members of the LBGT community, absent family and friends, please be upstanding and let's share a toast with the bride and groom. Hip hip! Hey! Hip hip! Hey! Hip hip! Hey! Thank you.
Now how can you follow that? Thank you very much. Next, Rob, I'd like you to place your hand on top of Rowan's. And look into each other's eyes, please.
What are you doing?
On top of Rowan's. Because that's the last time you've got the upper hand in this relationship. Now for Rob's speech.
No, it's Brock. No, it's me. Oh, is it you? Thanks. First off, thank you for all being here today. It really means the world to me and Rowan, doesn't it? For everyone to be here under one roof. Shut up, Mal. It means everything to have everybody here today under one roof. It's a beautiful feeling. It doesn't happen anywhere near enough. So I'll have to get married again to do this, won't I? Everybody looks amazing. You all look like movie stars. Thanks for all your efforts. I know every woman in this room has had a last-minute wardrobe panic. And you've all made the right decision. Every woman in this room. Everybody. And also, thank you for being so patient. It's been a very long time coming, this wedding. We've had to rearrange due to the pandemic. It was a very hard decision for us to rearrange this, wasn't it? Very, very hard. We couldn't bear the thought of doing this without every one of you here today. So there's no doubt that we made the right decision. So thanks for that. Thanks for being patient. Thanks also, we changed the venue mid-swing, which was a much easier decision, to be totally honest with you. The last venue, it wasn't giving us that experience that Rowan was after as a bride. We weren't getting that way. We were miles away from that. If anybody from Willowbrook Hall is within earshot, I'd just like to thank you. Hello?
Especially bar staff.
Next. But no, seriously, it's been amazing. They've given us that wedding experience that we were after, and it was just completely vacant before. So we made the right decisions the whole way along. So thanks for being patient. Thanks to Mark, Russell for your speeches. They were both amazing. Don't know how I'm going to follow those two, so Thanks for that. And also, who's going to be paying for Rowan's makeup? It's not cheap. It's absolutely fucking ruined. Both of you. Half each. Half each. I'd like to give a special mention to the mother of the bride, to Helen. You look amazing. You've made the right decision with your dress. Thanks for all your help on today and during the build-up to the wedding. We couldn't have done it without you. Mom, special thanks to the mother of the groom. You look amazing. Again, couldn't have done it without you. I don't think we'd have wanted to. Thank you. I'd like to do a combined thank you to everybody on the top table. To Martin, to my mum, to Helen, Russell, Rowan, to Mark, my dad Martin, Lynn and Annika. Thanks for all your help throughout the wedding and today, but also over the last 6 years of our relationship, because you've got us here today. You've supported us so much, you've been so generous. We appreciate it, no end. Thank you. Next, I'd like to thank the groomsmen, to Brock and to Wayne. It's an honour to have you both with me today. We've been through thick and thin, we really have. We're only in our early 30s, but I feel like we've been through it all already all together. So thanks for being here, it's an honour. You've been great today as well. You've been amazing. Special shout out to Brock for being the best man. Me and Brock have been friends since preschool, since I used to be short, believe it or not, since we were this big. We've been friends for our whole lives, and there's nobody that I would rather have been as my best man today. I knew he would be my best man before I met Rowan. I really did. Thank you to the bridesmaids, bridesmen. That's Lucy, Sophie, Hilary, Naomi, Lucy, and Jack. Thank you so much for all your help with the wedding. The hen do's were amazing. Rowan has not stopped talking about them to this day. She felt so special. She feels so lucky to have such great friends. She's so lucky, so thank you so much for that. And you set the bar so high for Lucy and Ben's wedding. Lucy's hen do's next, so you've got a lot of work to do, guys. Right, so for those that might not know, me and Rowan met on the dating app Tinder. Believe it or not. I know. It's worked out alright though, hasn't it? And we know that that's not your typical Disney princess story tale. We're well aware of that. We've made it our own these last 6 years. I wouldn't change anything. And I remember first matching on Tinder with Rowan, and this sounds pathetic now I'm saying it out loud. But I did, I remember it to this day, and I remember thinking, no way, come off it. She's pressed the wrong button. She's slipped. No way. And anyway, after maybe 30 seconds of contemplating it, I was pretty keen. So I thought I'd shoot my shot, and she replied within minutes, and we spoke for a few weeks, and we had loads in common, and we thought, you know what, let's try, let's meet, let's see how we got on in person. And I remember us doing that at the Stag, a pub on Salter Lane, almost 6 years ago now. I remember turning up there early, with fresh trim, my Sunday best, absolute bag of nerves, worse than I am now. I'm not sure, maybe on par as I am now. And I remember there shaking, and eventually, some things never changed, but eventually Rowan did turn up. And I just remember thinking, wow, she's incredible as she was walking towards me, and all my nerves just evaporated, just from seeing you, just from seeing your face. And I felt so at ease just being in her presence, it was incredible. Yeah, so I remember being in a little bit of a daydream as she's walking towards me. I was feeling the emotions, I'm in a little love bubble, and everything felt great. And Rowan burst that bubble quite loudly when he spoke to me for the first time. And Rowan blurted out, "Bloody hell, you're tall." I'm not joking. First words. Yeah. She wasn't wrong, so. But no, I didn't judge her on that. I found it funny, and looking back in hindsight now, that's typical of Rowan's nature. She's funny, she's cheeky, she knows how to make me smile, she knows how to make me laugh. You do that every day. So we went inside, we got sat in a cosy corner, and I remember us talking for hours and hours, drinking away. Conversation was flowing like no tomorrow. Discovered that we have loads in common. It was amazing. And I remember us walking down to the next bar, carried the situation on. The conversation was amazing. And I remember this day could not have gone any better. It could not have gone any better for a first date. And I'll tell you all why I know it couldn't have gone any better. Cover your ears, kids. I'm only joking. We both went our separate ways, don't worry. We both went our separate ways. But I know it couldn't have gone any better. We arranged the second date halfway through the first date. Now, I don't know if anybody here has done that before. I've certainly not. It could not have gone any better. Towards the end of the night, we jumped in a black cab together. Rowan was meeting her mates on West Street. Some things never change again. So we're in the black cab, and that's where we shared our first kiss. Do you remember? In the back of a black cab on West Street. How classy. Outside Blue 88, she wants to add, yes. That makes it a lot better, right? But yeah, so we parted ways after our first kiss, and I remember just being mesmerised on the way home in the taxi. Couldn't fathom what had happened. Could not understand how well the first day had gone. Not only did she look like she did in the pictures, which if anyone's ever been on a Tinder date is a victory on its own. So that was a really good start. But we really did feel like old friends catching up. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. So to be honest, it's no surprise I'm sitting here today, married to Rowan. No surprise, that's all. So almost a few weeks off 6 years to the day of that first date, here I am, married to Rowan. And I can proudly say, I feel the luckiest man alive to wait beside Rowan each morning. Just such a loving, beautiful, caring, I don't know why I'm reading these bits off here, I know this. What was the last one? Kind and patient. But no, honestly, I cannot be more proud to sit here today and call Rowan my wife. I love you. And one last thing before I go, it's really important to me and Rowan that we pay our respects to nearest and dearest loved ones. Can't be with us today, but we know they're watching over and their presence is felt here today. So, in a moment, if we could please raise a toast, and rather than a toast, I would like you all to do a cheers with whoever's next to you. To Rowan's grandma and granddad Oram, to Daphne and John, to my grandma and granddad Crowder, to Mary and Frank, Rowan's grandma and granddad Bryden, Alwyn and Tom, and last but not least, to my grands Bloor, to Gordon. Let's please all say cheers to our nearest and dearest.
Rob, what a fantastic show, and what a worthy groom you are. Rob told me that he was worried about how he would perform tonight. In fact, he confided in me that he was practicing the shower twice a day, and I'm sure you can all agree that the speech has gone well. And now, it's for the best man. And you know what they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Cheers for pointing me out of the way. I'm buzzing about that. Right then. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's lovely to see you all today in your best glad rags, looking very smart and dapper, I must say. I hope you're all ready for a good knees up later on. I know I am, especially after this. Now, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Brock, and I'm sure you've all guessed by now that I'm indeed Rob's best man. Firstly, well done Rob, Russ and Mark for a fantastic speech earlier. Hopefully mine lives up to the standards you've all just set. We'll see about that. Now, I'm pretty sure I speak for everybody here today when I say how happy I am we can finally celebrate Rob and Rowan's big day together. After everything that's gone on over the past couple of years, the fact you've got through every obstacle thrown at you and somehow come through it even more solid than before just shows how strong your relationship really is. Before I go any further, I'd just like to say a few thank yous. Firstly, I'd like to say a big thank you to both Rob and Rowan's family. I'm sure you've all been there for them during the stressful times over the last few months and when they've needed you the most. Secondly, I'd like to say thank you to all the people that attended the stag and hen do's. I hope you both got the send-off that you wanted and deserved. I know Rob did that first night in Wales. Life's all about them drunken kitchen heart-to-hearts, isn't it, Rob? Days, ain't. And finally, the biggest thank you today goes to Rob and Rowan for including every single one of us in your special day. I know how much preparation you've both put into today, not only to make it special for yourselves, but everyone else too. An extra thank you goes out on behalf of myself, Wayne and the bridesmaids. While I have the bridesmaids' attention, can I just say how stunning you all look today? Woo! Only second to the beautiful Rowan. Now, I'm sure we're all in agreement what a beautiful ceremony we had earlier. Everything has gone to plan. Nobody's going to be waiting 2 hours for a taxi in a car park at Matlock. And everything's been great up until now. Robert? You alright, pal? Now, I'm going to try and squeeze 27 years of friendship into a few minute period. So, wish me luck. Rob, I'm going to be nice to you. So, me and Rob met during nursery, stroke infant school, in much simpler times, where all you had to do was decide between milk or fruit juice with your afternoon snack, or if you was going to play in a pirate ship or play football at dinner times. Safe to say, I can't remember much else about infant school, but football, pirates and snacks have proven a great foundation for a long friendship. It wasn't until we moved to junior school that we really bonded, as we were put in the same class for 4 years. Rob could normally be found playing keenies, that's pogs to normal people, playing football with bottle lids, as we wasn't allowed to play on concrete. Kilmarsh is weird. Swapping football stickers, avoiding the corner that shall not be named, and enjoying their game of rabies. Only in Kilmarsh could a game of TIG get renamed rabies. Or exactly. Or chatting about the Kevin and Perry movie, which we definitely reminisced about when we went to Ibiza later on in life. When we moved up to secondary school, we remained friends, but it wasn't until Rob moved to Ridgeway, next door to Chris, of all people, that solidified the reason I'm up here today as his best man, and all the guys sat round table 7, I was out round table 7 today. Big mistake moving to Ridgeway, Rob. Now, as I look around the room today, I'm sure we're all in agreement that Rob's a great guy. Polite, honest, a solid friend, and would do anything for you. However, what some of you may not know is if you get the right amount of alcohol into Rob, we discovered he's got an alter ego. I'm into Rob. Who knows? If we're lucky, we might even get to see the Durs later on tonight. Fortunately, for Rob's parents mainly, he's semi-retired now, but he's defo kicking about in there somewhere still. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, always funny. Bartenders, I watch you be a punt because he likes pulling his own pints, and I like your vodka bottles. Whether it be the endless nights out, festivals, concerts, football, or just vibing in general, Rob is great company. I don't want to dwell on this too much, but we once went to America for a few months and we had a great time, eventually. Unfortunately, in this time, I took ill. It was at this point, though, that I realised just what a great person and a pal Rob was. Rob went out of his way to stay in constant contact with my family and visited me in hospital twice a day for 2 weeks, which is something I will never forget. It just shows what a great job Sharon and Martin did of raising him, and as he sits here today, I'm sure you are both extremely proud of the man he has become. There was also a brief period where me and Rob lived together, which was short-lived but fun. Here I discovered Rob had a staple diet of chicken and rice 8 days a week, and could be normally found falling asleep before the match of the day had even started. It was around this time he realised it was time to move out and settle down a little. I could stand here all day and tell you stories about Rob. Hang on, but I won't, because I would still like him to be my best mate once this speech is over. Actually, that's a complete lie. Buy me a Guinness in a bit and I'll sell him out completely. No problem. It wasn't long after we moved out that Rob met Rowan, which I'm sure we can all agree on, she is the best thing that's ever happened to Rob. I remember when Rob told me about Rowan, he asked if I would like to meet her, which I agreed would be a great idea. The three of us went to a concert in Sheffield, and I instantly knew that she was the perfect girl for Rob. She's beautiful, kind, a laugh, got a warm heart, and the main thing of all, she's got my mate's best interests at heart. It also helped that she bought the first round. Maximum friend points to Rowan right now. We have had a great friendship since that night, and long may it continue. Another example of how perfect Rowan is for Rob came just a few weeks ago when she gave him the all clear to go to the Sheffield United match tomorrow on the first morning of marriage. I'm very glad to say he declined that offer, as there's every chance that could have bitten him on the backside for years to come. And rightly so. As I start to come to the end of my speech, it still blows my mind that the young lad who used to run around school discos, off his face on Haribo, dancing to S Club 7 and 5 while sporting a quite magnificent mushroom cut hairstyle, is getting married today. Thank you, Rowan, for making my pal the happiest man in the room today. I know it's not a one-way street, I can see how happy it makes you too. You guys are perfect for each other, and I cannot wait to see where the next chapter of your life leads to. So now, I would be very grateful if everybody would join me. I ain't got a glass. In raising a glass.
Yes, give me a glass, please. Sorry.
In raising a glass to the happy couple.
Cheers, dude.
We all love you both and wish you a lifetime of happiness. To Rob and Rowan Bloor.